begin north of the University of Texas area, probably around 32nd Street, and go south of the Capitol, probably all the way down to the river, and stretch from I-35 to either Lamar or the Mopac area. These are areas where visitors come in, and they must be kept safe there. And because we've seen a reticence by the Austin City Council and the City of Austin to step up and protect this region, the state feels a need to step forward and get that job done.
So do you plan to press hard to make that happen during the legislative session?
Absolutely. I believe strongly in the safety of everybody who visits this region, and because Austin is not providing that level of safety, as governor, all of these people are my constituents too, and everybody who visits here is my responsibility to make sure that they are safe when they come here, and so I view it as essential that this gets done this session.
What do you say to people who have also been watching this and they say, well, if you look at violent crime statistics, they really have not gone up dramatically in Austin from 2019 to 2020. As a matter of fact, the statistics by the chief of police show that they've remained relatively flat.
It sure seems like we hear varying different statistics coming out of all those sources, because it seems like it was the police chief or the city of Austin that made it look like the murder rate had gone up a whole lot. But that point aside, here's one thing that every visitor to this region will tell you, and that is that there is crime on the street that makes people feel endangered. And you all have done stories. There have been stories in the Austin American-Statesman, etc., that point out these crimes that occur in this region that I'm talking about. And candidly, there's not a single one of your viewers who would think that there is not crime taking place in these regions, because they see it themselves when they come down to go to a restaurant or something like that in the downtown region. And ask the store owners and operators on Congress Avenue if it is as safe there as it was before the city of Austin eliminated the ban on camping, and they will tell you that it is not.
Governor, you said last night that it is a priority item to possibly penalize cities that choose to defund the police. I'm curious to know, you live in Austin, obviously you've been keeping up with actions by the Austin City Council. How much did what happened on the ground here in Austin play a role in your decision to make that an emergency item?
Well, there were several factors that played into it. We do see in Austin that they have defunded the police, and they have not had a new cadet class and things like that that will be endangering safety on the streets. But we've also seen this arise in other regions across the country, and it seems like Austin is one of the first Texas cities to pick up the mantle of what Minneapolis has done, and Portland and Seattle and some other cities like that have done. There have been some reverberations. You know, the city of Dallas tried to pass it and then reversed it, things like that. So we just want to be very clear that Texas isn't going to go down the pathway that some of these other states and cities have gone down. We're not going to defund the police, and we're not going to devalue the role that they play in our society. They're absolutely necessary to maintain safety in Austin as well as other communities, and we're going to make sure that the role that law enforcement plays will be upheld by the state legislature.
Governor, turning now to homelessness, I know this is also an issue that you have been vocal about, particularly with the repealing of the local ordinances here in Austin. You've now floated the idea of a statewide legislation concerning homelessness. What, in your opinion, is the answer, in your estimation, the answer to homelessness here in Austin and in major cities across the state?
Sure. So I think homelessness is probably more challenging in the Austin area than elsewhere in the state. That said, I hear and both see reports of increased homelessness challenges in places like Houston and some other regions across the state. So we will be working on a statewide law that will first understand that the homeless do need help, and we want to help put them on a pathway to a better life, whether it be helping them get off of an addiction they may have, helping them get a home or a living space if that's what they need, helping them get training for a job, whatever the case may be, helping them get the food and health care they need access to. All of that said, one thing that we all have to agree upon, and that is allowing the homeless to urinate and defecate and leave drug needles on city streets is not compassion. It's not helping anybody. It's not helping the homeless, and it's not making the community safer. And that's exactly why one thing that we want to do at the state level is to ban homeless camping like what exists in Austin, Texas.
Governor, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Donnie. You take care.
You too.